let's start with Sturban versus Jacket, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Durbin versus Jacket. What can I say about this?
so first of all, I was stoked to get Jacket in the mix because
Hmm.
he's been playing in Caliburst for a while. We've seen him make his way through beginner bracket. We've seen him,
Right.
put in work in intermediate, but most of
Hmm.
his time on Caliburst, if he's been playing in show matches, he's been playing as part of the Carpool from Hell 3-man team.
Right.
And uh it's, he gets in there and talks shit. He fucks people up with Wake Up Super. Like, it's a good ass time, but we haven't actually gotten to see a chance to see him play a first to three. And so I was super
Right.
excited to get him in the mix just for that, right? Because he's been putting in work. Like, I think I played him in Wednesday Night Fight at the beginning of February, and he was doing pretty good. So this was like, already I wanted an excuse to get Jacket in there and playing, playing someone new, playing someone a little bit different. And Sturban, aka Kemo Nobata, just came to us, like, just got back into the scene a couple months ago. He played a great Sin Mirror for the color against One Bin in the Caliburst Rivals card and like he's been consistently practicing. What was it? I think he got second at Mild West last week. I think he got second at
Yep.
Mild West the month before. Like, he's been putting in that work. So this felt like just a really good match to make.
Yeah. So this one is interesting. I feel like both of these guys have very similar styles. Um, they're wild.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like you said, Sturban's been doing a lot of work. Usually asks for games. Top three at both the Mild West. I think it was third. I want to say Gage got second at the first one, and
Mm-hmm.
then Sturban got second at this most recent one. Yeah, did really well. Played a lot of people, normally wouldn't have the chance to play, right? Because it's open to SoCal and
Yep.
NorCal. So usually um at WNF, right, you run into situations where you just kind of get, washed round one because you're a low seed, and then you might get one or two rounds and then you're out, right?
Yep.
But that's why we like these other brackets. But yes, Sturban very hungry, much like the character he plays, starving for those games. So hungry he wanted sign games.
Yeah. What
Um,
was that about? I saw in the NorCal anime they started playing some Sign. What the fuck?
some people, well, like
I mean, Sim player, sure,
PS3
yeah.
is going down, but yeah, I know, right?
I guess it's
Right,
not a mystery
exactly.
that a Sin player might look fondly upon the glory days of Sign Sin.
Right.
Um, but yeah, absolutely. These two are explosive as fuck, which
Hmm.
makes it all the more fun to put them together in a match and see what the fuck happens.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, Sturban has been grinding the games, right? He has been going through these brackets. He's been doing super well at Mild West, et cetera, et cetera. Putting in the work in Wednesday Night Fights. Jacket has
Yep.
a little bit more experience playing on the show match stage, but that's
Right.
one of the reasons why I'm super excited to see the collision between these two. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, like you said, like Jacket usually ends up in a situation where it's not like three games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, it's like you get one and then you got passed to either Aether Beat or Chair. Even when you get a hot streak, it's different, right? You're running into different characters each
Yep.
time. So this is going to be a little different. The interesting thing about this is, matchup wise, this matchup generally the consensus is this favors Raven,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sim players don't like this matchup, and
Yeah.
I asked Babalu about this and Ghostier, and stance is an issue. Um, the dash, everyone knows about Raven's infamous dash. That
Mm-hmm.
that becomes an issue. 2H is also an issue, but the interesting thing too that I noted about this is that both players have, a little bit more experienced players in their character pool that they could ask.
Right.
For Sin, we have Ghostier and One Bin,
Mm-hmm.
of course, and then on the other side we have the unkindness of Ravens. So it'll be interesting to see. And the more interesting thing to me is the fact that I don't really see Babalu and Adapt talk to like Jacket that often, and then
Yeah.
kind of the same with, I know One Bin talks to Sturban a little bit, but like I don't even know if Sturban's talked to Ghostier before. But it'll be interesting to see. These are resources that are available. I'm just
Yeah.
saying right now. It's a
this
good
is
idea.
this is one of the reasons why I put these matches together, right? Like if you as a player are only concerned with tournaments, then
Right.
it becomes harder to prepare for specific matchups. And if you're not preparing for specific matchups, then it can become harder to ask for the right kind of advice, right? Like no matter who wins this match, they should both come out stronger players, and part of that is because of the preparation that they put in, right? And this is a chance to flex that preparation that we haven't really seen either of them apply too much, right? Because with Sturban's case, we've only seen him play the Sin Mirror on for Caliburst,
Right.
and for Jacket, like because he hasn't been in any show matches before, he'll prepare for like a squad, but it's different than if Jacket wants tape of Sturban Sin, all he has to do is go through recent Wednesday night fights or recent Caliburst or Mild West or whatever, and it's the same thing with Jacket, right? So
yeah. So there's a lot of resources for these guys, obviously, because we do our best to try to showcase as much as we can for our newer players, so they have stuff to look back on. But that cuts both ways, right? If you're preparing for a specific person, you also have access to that footage. So it'll be interesting to see how these two prepare, or maybe they don't prepare. Maybe they both shotgun a Red Bull and say, you know what, we're just gonna let Calories or Stance take the wheel.
Yeah, it's we like to create these matches to give people the opportunity to prepare, because that's a way to a way to grow. But like, not everyone's gonna take it, and that's fine. So we'll see what comes out of these two. Either way, I'm expecting some fireworks, maybe some dropped packets, maybe some misconnections. It's going to be a good ass time. Cheradine out here saying Jacket shotguns a glass of milk. Woo! It's a wild boy. Ooh. I couldn't do that shit at 35, let me tell you. Next up, we got Custom versus Cheradine.
Yeah.
This was this was another. I mean, look, when I cut these trailers, I usually look for like one or two, maybe 3 clips of someone doing their thing. With Custom and Cheradine, all I had to do was look through their last Caliburst sets, right? With Custom, it was the run against Ghostier in winners finals and grand finals of the last intermediate bracket, because Custom is our most recent intermediate bracket graduate. And with Cheradine, it was with the Aether Beat show match, which he lost, but I still got like 8 to 10 clips. I didn't even use all the clips of Pop Busters, and Custom got like, I think it was 8 supers in there. Eight just like raw supers. We got explosions on both sides of this match, and it's gonna be fun as shit.
Yeah, so I think the great thing about this game is every person has their calling card, and it's become abundantly clear Custom's calling card is the love for super.
Yep.
Which is good, right? Dead on Time, BDC Dead on Time is really strong. It's very strong, exactly. It's got a lot of invols. It hits. You see some of the best Slayers abuse that. And on the other side, I think Cheradine has very good grappler sense. Yeah. I've seen Cheradine play a lot of games, and it almost always is playing a grappler. Actually, probably always. I don't know if there's a grappler in TFH, but other than that, other than that, it's like Grappler City. So I think the interesting thing is, once again, we can talk about the matchup on paper, right? This is pot favored, and I think Cheradine's really good at knowing the pot favored matchups and why they're favored. So that's going to be interesting. Custom, on the other hand, we haven't seen Custom play a lot of Potemkins, right? There's a lot of Potemkins in NorCal, but we haven't seen Custom play a lot of them. So it'll be interesting. Once again, we have a lot of Slayers in NorCal. It'll be interesting to see, does Custom feel the need to kind of reach out to like a Vict or a Daymendo, try to get an idea? And then on the flip side, does Cheradine reach out to a Pepsi? Pepsi definitely prepared for that matchup, and the same for Daymendo, right? Yeah. So it's like one of those things. This is not
the first Slayer versus Pot we've seen on the Caliburst stage. Also,
but it's going to look different.
Aether Beat dropping some good lores. The funny history is that Cher and Custom met in Wednesday Night Fights early in the online series, and after game 1, counterpicked Potemkin with Potemkin. That's fucking godlike.
That's pretty good.
But that's what's up. Yeah, in terms of the matchup, like, it is kind of tricky for Slayer, because normally Slayer is comfortable in matchups where he wants to be close to you, right? Because
Right,
that's where he gets
exactly.
his big hits. That's where he gets his
Yep.
grabs. That's where his mix works. Pot's like, yo, you want to be next to me? Dope. Let's just slug it out.
Right. And the other thing too is, right, it's like those little bit of frames matter. Normally it's like, okay, this is safe enough. It's like, not against a grappler.
Yep.
Not against a grappler. So you end up in a situation where you're just gonna get pot busted. And that's the thing, is that Charadine knows, when you play grapplers in every game, right? You know exactly when you're supposed to go for the grab. So it's that grappler sense. So this one's gonna be interesting. I think the main thing for Charadine to worry about is super, and then like we said, like the clip shows, the main thing that Custom should be worried about is putting himself in command grab.
Yeah. And that was honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to make this match, right? Is like, it's so easy for us when you're playing this game. It's so easy to get caught up in all the things that, like for me, it's Summit, right? I look at Summit, I'm just like, Summit's so fucking good. Like when I look at my chip, it's easy to just hyper focus on all the things that make my chip not as good as Summit's, right? And when I'm sure that's the case for like a lot of folks, right? When they're looking at their character and how they play the character, it's easy to think of however you play the character as just a worse and inferior version of how some Japanese god plays the character, right?
Right.
And that's actually not the case, right? Like Guilty Gear is a deep game. We're all playing it with different perspectives from different backgrounds, right? Like there's a bunch of shit that I did when I started out playing Chip that I still kind of do, or that I worked out ways to improve, right? There's no like wrong way of playing a character necessarily. There are going to be ways that take advantage of like better damage or better combo execution, more reliable neutral play, that kind of thing, whatever. It's not like it's not as though, at the end of the day, a fighting game is math, right? And if you have a combo that gives you more advantage frames and gives you more damage, it's probably gonna be better than the one that doesn't. But with these two players, they make clear stylistic decisions that are just a lot of fun to watch. And however they get better from here, like I don't know what Custom Slayer is going to look like 5 years from now, but I'm sure that he's still going to be hitting those supers some of the times. And so I wanted a chance to showcase these two amazing players, because it's fun as fuck to see that style come through, especially when you got sluggers as big as these two boys. So this is gonna be good stuff. Now let's get on to the main event. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the math. I thought about it more like, it's kind of like you're building a custom character. Right?
Absolutely.
Where it's like, some people like this and some people like that, but it's like, the stats you put effort into really shows kind of the character you're painting. It's like, this is my character, because it's like we said, we've seen this matchup before. We saw Daemendo Pepsi, but that's not gonna, that doesn't look the same like the last major we went to. AA doesn't look the same as Daemendo versus Psychedelic Pet. It doesn't look the same as I think Daemendo versus Shine. So it's like, it's completely different depending on the situation. So that's what's going to make this one interesting. You're going to see a lot more supers and probably a lot more command grabs.
Yep. And that'll, in terms of stylistic, like nothing says stylish more than being able to confidently pick random select in a Guilty Gear competitive environment. And we got Singa, Nuclear Papaya, and Pepsi coming through. This was, I am so excited to make this match happen, because one, it's not always easy to get Singa, right? I've asked Singa a couple times to play, and sometimes they're just doing other shit, right? Nuclear Papaya is actually headed out of town for a while, in like, I think a little bit later in April. He's headed off to the Midwest, and so he's not going to be within like competitive net play range for a little bit. And so I was super stoked to be able to get him in this random select exhibition, because Nuclear Papaya is absolutely slept on as a random select player. Originally, I had actually assembled this squad plus Wabbit. It was Wabbit and myself plus these three to compete in a NorCal SoCal random select
good squad.
Draft. Yeah, it would have been a dope ass squad, but the event fell through. So I'm super glad that we got to get these two in. And then Pepsi coming back from deployment. He's back for a couple months, so of course we had to get him in the mix, right? So the way this is going to work, if y'all are kind of new-ish to Caliburst, one of the first exhibitions that we had ever run was it was, I think, Babalu, Cam, and Bonjern in a
Yep.
three-way first to 5, right? First to 7?
I think it was first to 7 on PS4. Yeah.
Oh, we did run it on PS4, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we did run it on PS4. Yeah.
But the way it worked was basically it's just a rotation, right? It's just like a winner stays best of 1 rotation where you probably you get people, you know, like pick numbers out of a hat or whatever to figure out who goes first.
Right.
And then you stay on the machine. You know, 2 players play, whoever wins stays. That's how we did it for the 3 of them. With this, we got random select, right? So every game, even if you win, the game's going to re-roll your character. You're getting right back in the mix, right? It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. And these 3 are like, they're fucking nice, right? That clip that I pulled from of Singa playing Dizzy was from the random select tournament that we ran.
Select tournament, yeah.
Yeah, in April or May, something like that of last year. And that was grand finals. The only reason I had any chance whatsoever in that set was because I picked Jam, or I rolled Jam, right? Like, if I gotten any other character, Singa's Dizzy probably would have just fucking washed me. I don't know. Maybe if I got a counter pick with like Axel or some shit, I would have been in business. But like that was just one character that Singa happened to roll that day, right?
Right.
Nuclear Papaya is our go-to source of matchup knowledge and preparation for when we don't have someone on deck to help us out, right?
Right.
Like Cam prepped with Nuclear Papaya. Nuclear Papaya's bedman to take the 3-2 win over GC Yoshi and Caliburst January, right? I think it was January, yeah. And Pepsi, I don't actually know how deep Pepsi goes with all the characters in the game, but we see him pull out Pot, we see him pull out Soul. We've run Zato mirrors before in Wednesday night fights. Like Pepsi's got a pretty deep roster, and I swear to God, I always see him talking about this combo or that combo in the NorCal anime Discord. Like he just randomly labs shit. He's labbing TFH the other day. He's labbing Marvel. Like dude doesn't give a fuck.
He just wants to play a game. So yeah, actually, I did some research for this.
Ooh.
When I thought about this. So I have these are just things I know for each player, how much they have. So let's start with Singa. Singa unironically wants to be a random select player.
Tight.
They have said so themselves. So with Singa, we have the Zato. That is known. We saw a little bit of the Dizzy. There was word that there was a bike in at one point. Singa has told multiple people how to play Soul. Knows a little bit about Leo. I've seen Singa net play lobbies with Pot.
Okay.
So those are the ones I've seen so far. Nuclear Papaya actually has I think he's about 7 deep. So obviously Ramethal.
Yep.
We've already mentioned Bedman. You can't forget Eno. Has a pretty good Eno. And then these are characters that I know he's played somewhat frequently with other people. So he played Dizzy for a while. Adapt actually said he thought his Dizzy was better than his Ram. So I'm gonna put that out there. There was an Axel at one point.
I mean, everyone's got a pocket Axel,
right? Everyone's got a pocket Axel. Yeah. He tried to teach me Jam. So he has a Jam. And then there was this out of left field, there was Amelia, and he did mess around with Venom. Hey. So maybe that's 8 deep.
Okay,
Pepsi, I know. I want to say I've seen Pepsi's Johnny before. But obviously Pot, Soul, we mentioned Zato, Eno. There is an Eno also for Pepsi.
Oh wow. When did you see Pepsi's Eno?
He played me with his Eno. Yo. So this is where the CT tells me to just 2-it.
Okay.
Let's see. I want to say there might have been a Leo, but I'm not 100% sure if there's a Pepsi Leo. Somebody might have to correct me on that. But those are the ones I've definitely seen. So, out of all of this, we're not seeing a lot of Sins. We're not seeing a lot of Kais. No Raven. No Chip. Nay. Alfeld. There's no Jacko. I
Yeah.
don't think anyone of them's played Jacko. So we between the three of them, we've got about half the roster
Yeah.
almost.
And this
So
is
it'll be
this is
interesting.
just for like, oh, so Adapt is saying Pepsi has a
Oh,
Venom.
Pepsi has a Venom too. Okay.
Irene
Interesting.
reminded us that Singa has a Jam. It's
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And this is all like this is just the matches that we've seen them playing, right? But in terms when it comes to random select, like even just having a B&B and basic control of the moveset might be enough to win some games. Also, this random select is different than the way we ran the tournament, right? When we ran the random select tournament, we assigned random select characters that you had to stick with the whole time.
Yes.
This time, like Pepsi could roll pot. That would be awesome for one game. And then even if he wins, it's going to re-roll next time, right? So we're really testing the breadth of mastery here. And I'm super excited to see it play out, right? This crew, like those three, you could probably give them any fighting game and it would be dope as hell to watch them. But random select Guilty Gear is like, there's only a couple people out there who I feel like would be up to the task. And these three are definitely up there on the list.
And I think the key takeaway that I've noticed for all of them is just a general mastery of the game, awareness of matchups, not just for their own character, but across the board.
Yep.
And defense is pretty strong.
Yeah.
I think Singa has extremely good defense. Pepsi has extremely good reactions, and Nuclear Pie probably has the best execution of the three. So it's like these are things that can always transfer over. It doesn't matter the character that you're playing, right? If you have one B&B and then you're good at reacting to stuff and you're good at defending against stuff, and that includes like Singa's really good with throwing, and then you're really good at just hitting the combo consistently every time you get the hit. It's like that's going to be enough. It doesn't matter,
yeah,
what
you don't need to have the
you're just
perfect
getting consistent
Oki or whatever.
Exactly.
Right? And it's pretty interesting that like the way that the shook out, like these three players are all they all just have like very, very good kind of strong general skill sets, right? Like you mentioned, Pepsi and Singa both have amazing defense. And it's because when you main Pot and Zato, you have to be good at stuff like instant blocking. You have to be good at stuff like air throwing. You can't count on whatever your character tools are to compensate for that shit. A lot of times you need to be relying on the things that everyone can do, right? Nuclear Papaya just like sits down and practices hard shit because that's what he likes to do.
Yeah. Walton is the kind of guy who he will learn hard stuff because he firmly believes it will come back later.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah.
He Korean backdashes when he does stuff. That's actually a fact.
It's godlike.
Yeah, so this is going to be crazy. There's no way to theorycraft this, right? Because like there's multiple things, like you mentioned, they could just get their mains. And then, there's also the scenario where you just get your main and you're at 4 wins.
Yep.
And you get your main, right? Like,
and on top of that, because it's a 3-way race, like it isn't just the randomness of random select character draws. It's also like over the course of what could potentially be like, what's the max that we can get here? Like a 13 game set, I think. No, less than that.
No, they could all 4. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
they could all
be
at 4, and then
yeah. If we get a 13 game set, like you're going to get different. You're going to get different dynamics hopping up between players as well, right? Like Singa and Nuclear Papaya might find that their matchup goes one way, kind of regardless of certain character matchups, right? So it's gonna be super dope to see how these three shake it out. And honestly, like, look, this is the kind of shit you can only get at Caliburst. All right, so I'm super hyped for this.
Yeah, this is gonna be, you've done it again, Pat. Another innovation.
We're just trying to have a good time, watch some motherfucking gear, y'all. Caliburst Rebirth, April 3rd. Anything else you want to say about this card before I let you rock?
No, just everybody should come on out.
That's
and
right.
we always put on a good show, we promise.
Hell yeah. This Saturday, show matches start around 3:30. Remember, like, we've been doing this from home for about a year now, right? And we're getting pretty fucking good at this shit.
Over a year.
Over a year. Fuck.
Yeah.
We've been getting pretty fucking good at this Caliburst shit, right? Like the last in-person Caliburst was sick. We've been trying to keep things going as best we can, you know, with the online play. But just imagine how hyped this shit is going to be when we can get back to offline. That's I swear to God, it's keeping me going, baby. Anyway,
we're gonna get entrances, you know, like smoke and
yo.
Oh my God, that's CT Warriors music.
Don't even joke with me about that shit, Aaron, because you know if you start talking about that shit now, then we're gonna have to make it actually happen. Cheradine out here threatening to pop buster every single person in the venue individually. That's what's up. All right, thank you, Aaron, for coming through and running another great preview show. We will be back on the mic together on Wednesday. Also, glad to see you feeling better, man.
Yeah, no, I'm. Thank you so much. You know.
Hell yeah. We'll be back in there. Yeah. Take it easy, Aaron. I'm gonna let you go.
Yep.
Peace.
Thanks.